The air grew thick with dread. A chill ran down Amelia's spine, a familiar harbinger of his arrival. She knew with a certainty that chilled her to the bone that tonight would be different. Tonight the mask would slip.
He called himself a victim, a misunderstood soul.
His words dripped with charm, but beneath the surface Amelia saw glimmers of something else. A darkness that sent shivers down her spine. A need for control that manifested in subtle manipulations, veiled threats, and a constant erosion of her self-worth.
Amelia had always been the strong one, the caregiver, the one who put others' needs before her own. But his constant need for attention, his inability to acknowledge her feelings, was slowly draining her.
He was a black hole, consuming her light and leaving behind a void. The early days were a whirlwind of romance. He showered her with attention, compliments, and extravagant gifts.
Amelia, starved for affection after a string of failed relationships, basked in the warmth of his adoration.
But like a serpent in the Garden of Eden, his charm hid a venomous intent. As the weeks turned into months, the compliments became backhanded. The gifts turned into tools of control.
He would belittle her accomplishments, undermine her confidence, and then shower her with affection, making her question her own sanity.
Amelia found herself walking on eggshells, terrified of triggering his anger.
This is classic narcissistic behavior, a cycle of idealization, devaluation, and discard. The narcissist builds you up to tear you down, leaving you questioning your own reality. Amelia was trapped in this toxic dance, her spirit slowly being crushed. One cold November evening, as he launched into his usual tirade of insults, something within Amelia snapped. She had reached her breaking point. The fear that had held her captive for so long evaporated, replaced by a wave of righteous anger.
"No more," she whispered, her voice trembling with a newfound strength.
He scoffed, expecting her to back down as she always had.
But this time was different. Amelia stood her ground, her gaze unwavering. She had spent years shrinking herself to accommodate his ego, but no longer. Setting boundaries with a narcissist is crucial. It is about reclaiming your power, your voice, and your sense of self. Amelia, in that moment of defiance, had taken the first step towards breaking free from the chains that bound her. His initial reaction was predictable: rage. It was a fury that seemed to consume the very air around him, a tempest of raw emotion that left no room for reason or understanding.
He unleashed a torrent of verbal abuse, accusing her of being ungrateful, selfish, and delusional. His words were like daggers, each one aimed to wound, to break her spirit and force her into submission.
He tried to gaslight her, to make her doubt her own memories and perceptions. His tactics were insidious, designed to erode her confidence and make her question her own sanity.
But Amelia held firm, refusing to be drawn into his web of manipulation. She stood her ground, her resolve unshaken, her spirit unbroken.
As his anger subsided, a chilling silence descended upon the room. It was a silence that spoke louder than any words, a void filled with unspoken truths and realizations. It was in that silence that Amelia truly understood the depth of his narcissism. She saw clearly now the facade he had built, the lies he had told, and the reality he had tried to distort. He was incapable of empathy, of seeing her as anything other than an extension of himself. His world revolved around his needs, his desires, his ego. His silence spoke volumes. It was the sound of his ego crumbling, the realization that he could no longer control her, that his power over her was slipping away.
Narcissists feed off of your energy, your emotions. They thrive on your reactions, your pain, your confusion.
By refusing to engage, you starve them of their narcissistic supply. You take away their power, their control, their ability to manipulate. This is often met with increased attempts at manipulation, but staying strong and consistent with your boundaries is key. It is a battle of wills, a test of strength, but one that can be won with determination and resilience. Breaking free from a narcissist is never easy. It is a battle that tests every ounce of your strength and willpower. It is a long and arduous journey, fraught with self-doubt, guilt, and the constant questioning of your own reality. The ever-present fear of retaliation looms over you, making every step forward feel like a monumental task.
Amelia knew that her decision would have consequences. She was aware that breaking free would not be the end, but the beginning of a new set of challenges. He would try to punish her, to make her pay for daring to challenge his authority and disrupt his control. The threats were real and the fear was palpable. She knew he would stop at nothing to regain his power over her.
And punish he did. His anger knew no bounds, and his actions were driven by a need to control and dominate. He spread vicious rumors about her, tarnishing her reputation and turning mutual friends against her. The isolation was suffocating, and the betrayal from those she once trusted was a heavy burden to bear. He even threatened legal action, using every tool at his disposal to intimidate and control her. He tried to isolate her, to make her feel alone and vulnerable, hoping she would come crawling back. The loneliness was a weapon designed to break her spirit and force her into submission.
But Amelia had found strength in her vulnerability. She discovered a resilience she never knew she had. She had tasted freedom, and she would not be silenced again. Her spirit was unbreakable and her resolve was firm.
Leaving a narcissist is often compared to escaping a cult. The psychological grip is intense, and the journey to freedom is fraught with peril. You are breaking free from a toxic system of control and manipulation, reclaiming your life and your sense of self. It is crucial to have a strong support system in place, whether it be friends, family, or a therapist. Their support can be the lifeline that helps you navigate the storm and find your way to a brighter, freer future.
The road to healing was long and arduous, filled with obstacles and moments of doubt.
Amelia sought therapy, a brave step towards her recovery, finding solace in the words of a compassionate therapist who listened without judgment, who helped her understand the dynamics of narcissistic abuse and the impact it had on her psyche. She learned about the importance of self-care, of setting healthy boundaries, and the necessity of nurturing her own well-being, and of reclaiming her own narrative, rewriting her story with strength and resilience.
She surrounded herself with people who loved and supported her, friends who became her pillars of strength, who saw her strength and resilience. She rediscovered her passions, the activities that brought her joy, the things that made her feel alive and connected to the world around her.
Slowly but surely, she began to rebuild her life, brick by brick, with patience and determination, creating a fortress of the mind that no narcissist could ever penetrate, a sanctuary of her own making. Healing from narcissistic abuse is a journey, not a destination. It is a continuous process of growth and self-discovery. It is about reclaiming your power, your voice, and your sense of self, finding the strength within to move forward. It is about learning to love and value yourself again, to see your worth and embrace your true self, to see yourself through the eyes of someone who truly cares, and to hold on to that vision as you continue to heal.